In the beginning, you could almost forget The White Lotus was a kind of murder mystery. Back in 2021, Season 1 of the HBO drama put social farce first and deadly stakes a distant second, using a dead body as a hook only for creator Mike White to prove he didn't need one to hold our attention. But as the series has grown from a pandemic lark into a juggernaut franchise, The White Lotus has leaned into the elements that define it across continents and star-studded casts. That includes the fatalities. Starting with a cold open that interrupted a meditation session with gunshots, no version of The White Lotus teased its violent end as aggressively as the Thailand set Season 3, which concluded Sunday night. This motif may have aggravated audiences' impatience with the story, the most polarizing of the shows to date. In the end, the finale may not have entirely redeemed some pacing issues and unwieldy sprawl, but ended strongly enough to make both seem minor in retrospect. At 90 minutes, Amor Fati is the longest episode of The White Lotus to date, capping off a season that was similarly extended at 8 parts to the previous installments 6 and 7, respectively. The distension made it easier to notice that some plotlines were denser than others. I never tired of watching frenemies Jacqueline, Michelle Monaghan, Lori, Carrie Coon, and Kate, Leslie Bibb, bicker around the breakfast table about their respective blind spots and shortcomings. Southern patriarch Timothy Ratliff, Jason Isaacs, didn't need nearly as much time to panic over his impending disgrace due to white-collar crime, but he got it anyway. More space also allowed for more sustained tension, deliberately stoked by an ominous score from composer Cristobal Tapia de Veer, who will depart next season and be sorely missed. Timothy stole a gun and fantasized about putting his family out of their impending misery, only for embattled security guard Gaytok, Tame Thapthimthong, to steal it back. Masseuse Belinda, Natasha Rothwell, ran into known wife-killer Greg, John Grease, even extorting him in a dangerous game. In the penultimate episode, White's camera lingered on depressive Rick, Walton Goggins, disposing of a gun he'd meant to use on hotel owner Jim Hollinger, Scott Glenn, whom he blames for an unhappy, fatherless childhood. That last bit, of course, turned out to be a red herring. Rick's younger, new-age white girlfriend Chelsea, Amy Lou Wood, had predicted that bad things come in threes in another one of the season's overtly foreboding moments. Sure enough, Chelsea, Rick, and Jim, revealed, in a highly predictable twist, to be Rick's father, all lost their lives before the credits rolled. Though Chelsea's warning was ultimately an undercount, since Rick also takes out a bodyguard whose job goes to the once pacifist Gaytok. Even characters on The White Lotus don't have accurate theories about The White Lotus. The yin and yang battle Chelsea described between her optimistic hope and Rick's soul-consuming pain bore out in their corpses. Hers face down, his staring up. Eastern spirituality was a counterintuitive theme for a show as proudly luxurious as The White Lotus, and initially manifested in such naked plot devices as the confiscation of the Ratliff's phones in the name of digital detox. But its overall effect was to make the series subtext into text. When the Buddhist monk whose meditations center Ratliff's siblings Piper, Sarah Catherine Hook, and Lachlan, Sam Nivola, Tryout says that our coping devices are a quick fix that create more anxiety, more suffering. He's talking about every suite, room, and villa every fictional resort guest has ever booked. And while Rick briefly finds relief from that suffering after confronting Jim in Bangkok and letting him live, his giving into revenge as a cheap crutch costs him dearly. Rather than do the hard work of building a life in the present undefined by his formative trauma, Rick gives a job-like look back and gives into his demons.